Well, let's go through other interesting hard tech demos that kind of went off the rails and landed one guy, I think, in jail.
At least one.
We're moving to NIKOLA, and we have a chart here from the stock is all over the place. The market cap is at 40 million. They declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy today. They were in the Wall Street Journal, and so
it's
pretty
interesting.
rough.
It's interesting that there's somebody out there that's still buying NIKOLA shares today because it's still, they declared bankruptcy, but obviously you can still trade it.
Yeah.
So somebody out there is watching some like slop YouTube video of like NIKOLA being the future. and they're like, oh, this company seems really cool.
A lot of slop. Yeah. But at their peak, they were in the multiple billions market cap, and they've dropped significantly. Let's give a little bit of an overview.
They popped. So in June of 2020,
a
few months after the pandemic started, they went public at around $20 billion.
$20 billion.
Or they didn't go public. They
That's
didn't
crazy.
SPAC, so they SPAC'd.
That's crazy.
Blank
SPACs
check.
are normally like $4 billion companies, and this is 5 times.
Yeah,
that size.
but think about the pop on so many.
I
of
know.
these.
I know. Yeah.
Looks like a meme coin chart.
It really does look like a meme coin chart. And
it had about as much tech as a meme
as
coin.
a meme coin. Yeah. And what a silly name. It's like Tesla already exists. Let's make a company called NIKOLA. Clearly people will think it's literally meme coin. It's like how there was like, there's Trump coin and then there's Melania coin. It's like, just Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or whatever, Hillary Clinton coin or whatever. Or even after Dogecoin, there were like cat coins and, there were like the monkeys and then the dogs and then the owls and all sorts of stuff. People know when there's attention, just farm a little bit, sneak a little bit off the side.
Yeah.
Proven path. So this story starts back in 2009. Trevor Milton, the CEO of NIKOLA, he had a project called D-Hybrid for swift transportation. It fails amid accusations of misused funds, hinting at future deception. In 2014, he founds the NIKOLA Motor Company after selling D-Hybrid, touting revolutionary hydrogen electric trucks with hefty seed investments. 2016, the NIKOLA One truck is announced with claims of thousands of reservations and technology years ahead of its competition.
What was the NIKOLA One truck? Was it actually like a
I think
commercial?
it was a semi, like a 18-wheeler type truck. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's so funny because the strategy of saying, hey, we have this, you can reserve it for either no dollars or $100. Remember the Cybertruck? It was like $100.
Yeah.
I had numerous friends who were like, I
threw $100
because the novelty of being able to say like, I pre-ordered
versus
one for
the Roadster.
$100.
I think you have to put down like $50K.
Yeah,
which is like a wildly different bar.
But for that buyer, it's
true,
pocket change.
But like they hadn't announced pricing, so I guarantee there's like a massive price elasticity to electric car pre-order deposits. So if the Roadster was $100 down, and they were like, hey, maybe it'll cost $50 and it'll be better than a Turbo S, like people would definitely be jumping at this.
$50K.
Yeah, they were like, hey, maybe it'll be $50K, and you only have to put $100 down now. Like even if it came out at 200 later, people would pre-sell a ton, which could be good for just establishing demand. But I don't know.
And just for context, I think like to put in some of these like pre-orders, like I think the Humane Pin, even at their price point, got like 7,000 pre-orders. So like they couldn't even get pre-orders based on a device that didn't actually, the Humane device didn't work reliably.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But anyways, back to trucks.
Okay, so December 2016, they unveiled the NIKOLA One prototype, despite obvious signs it was not fully functional, i.e. visible external power cables. So people are like, wait a minute, there's a cable coming out of this car. You haven't untethered this thing. And in January of 2018, that's a year later.
It's funny because it actually wouldn't be that damning if they were like, hey, we're going to make the car roll uphill. Because then you could say, well, we don't have the battery set up yet, but we have it connected to basically an extension cord. Yeah. It's like a vacuum. And then we're going to get the engine's going. Now we're going to get the motors working now. But instead they, put it in motion 2 years later. Well, basically.
A year and 2 months. Yeah. So they do the rolling truck video. A promotional video shows the truck, quote unquote, in motion, but it was later revealed to have been rolled downhill to simulate
so they
driving.
actually towed it to the top with a tow truck.
Yep.
and then rolled it downhill.
What's funny is I'm sure if you're building a car, there is a process where you go from like, we're in the clay, the clay, like where they carve out the design.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, we have CAD designs. Hey, we fabricated like the external shell.
Yeah.
Hey, we fabricated like the wheels and like transmission and the axles enough that it actually moves. And that could have been just a cool thing if they didn't lie about it and been like, look, yeah, it's not actually working yet, but we got it rolling at least.
It's just funny because
instead they had to lie.
You presumably could have got the rolling truck video in the first month.
Oh yeah.
By just building out the frame, putting wheels on it, getting.
I mean, there are like kit car guys that can do that in their like garage on the weekend with a couple of cold ones.
There's some great videos of people making like things that look like Porsches that are just totally fake.
Yeah, you've seen for the Fiero, the Pontiac Fiero, people put body kits on that to make it look like a Countach because it was a mid-engine sports car from the 80s by Pontiac, but it's like, 10K or something. So you can just mod it like crazy. This is hilarious. In May of 2018, they sued Tesla for $2 billion over design features. An action seen as both bold and bizarre.
$2 billion.
Just like
the company the company that names themselves after in a derivative of Tesla then goes back and sues Tesla.
Yeah. It's like you'd think you'd be getting sued.
Bold and bizarre.
Egregious. NIKOLA
Honestly, the
World
whole thing,
Spectacle.
the whole thing. NIKOLA, bold and bizarre.
Bold
if
and
that
bizarre.
was there.
To boost credibility, they refund all pre-order deposits despite not having delivered a product. Probably just because they raised some money off of the pre-orders and they didn't want the pressure from the consumers. April 2019, NIKOLA World Spectacle. Spectacle is just not a good name for anything. A lavish event unveils multiple prototypes and secures a high-profile order from Anheuser-Busch. So they're deal guys. They're making deals happen, I guess. But rough. Milton purchases a $32 million Utah ranch and public offers proposing a Tesla pickup design draw increased scrutiny. And so by November of 2019, people are getting real suspicious of this guy. Yeah. He's suing Tesla, launching these weird truck videos where they're kind of fake, and then
he's
also
proposing the guy who was just suing them for $2 billion is now giving them design, saying, "Hey Tesla, you guys should make this."
Yeah,
wild,
hilarious, kind of gangster. Do you see the next one? The NIKOLA Badger. You want to read this?
February 2020. So this is a few months before they SPAC. The company unveils the NIKOLA Badger pickup with over-the-top features, including a built-in water fountain from fuel cell exhaust.
Can you imagine? You're just like,
I mean, as a father, I do like trucks.
Yeah. I mean, you're in the filtered water game, Jordy. Why not?
Yeah,
why not
as
put
a
that
water
in a car?
fanatic.
Yeah. Maybe we need to hook the Aurora up to the exhaust of the coolant of the turbo.
It's funny. This truck looks like I've got it pulled up right now. It looks like a complete knockoff of the Tundra meets a TRX.
Sure.
And a water fountain using the dispensed fuel is pretty cool.
So funny. But like, again, great viral story, little feature. And, to be fair, like the Cybertruck and other Tesla products have had similar things like that. Like the Model X has the gull wing doors that are like total showstoppers. And it's like, you could just do minivan doors on those, but that's way more attention.
So yeah,
tell
you
me
could
about
do the minivan doors. The one thing about minivan door, I mean, all these types of doors, having kids, I got a Mercedes van because I realized being able to just sit, stand,
and just put the kids straight in.
Put the kids straight in with the seats. But then the doors, you're always kind of worried, like, are they going to get?
Yep.
Anyways, I thought that was very smart. Elon has always been able to thread the needle in the Tesla team around novelty and actual use, function, utility.
Totally.
Because think about
steer-by-wire in
fart.
Cybertruck is very gimmicky, but it's also amazing because you're in this huge truck and you just move your hand like 2 inches and you're turning.
And then Tesla also does like the novelty of, we're going to make like a fart sound effect in the car.
Totally.
NIKOLA could never.
No, never.
So June 2020, the frenzy begins. NIKOLA goes public via a SPAC, skyrocketing value despite having zero revenue as investors buy into the hype. So immediately, can see on public goes basically pumps to $20 billion and then just drops basically every single day for the next 5 years. I'm sure they had. I gotta look. They had some bounces
our
at different
boy
points.
gets mentioned here.
Who's that?
Hindenburg. You want to read
anyways, so in September 2020, they had SPAC'd in March or June, sorry. So just a few months later, GM announces an 11% stake. So they take a public position in this public company and plans to manufacture NIKOLA trucks only for Hindenburg Research to expose a series of deceptive claims. Oof. So terrible look for GM. Sounds like they didn't do a lot of technical due diligence.
Should have called Hindenburg first.
They went and visited the ranch in Utah, and they were like, "This ranch is awesome. The tech must.
I want to hang out with this guy more.
The tech must be great." Shortly after, Milton resigns amid mounting evidence of fraud, and the GM deal is dramatically scaled back.
Oof.
I'm sure they still had their position.
Yep.
Hopefully, and then at that point, this is so long ago, a little under 5 years ago. And so there's all this legal fallout. July 2021, still the absolute top of the market. Yep. Milton is indicted on multiple fraud charges. In October 2022, he's found guilty and sentenced to prison with hefty fines. They're clearly clawing back. I'm sure he did various transactions over time that he benefited from personally. NIKOLA settles with the SEC for $125 million over misleading investors. So they had raised, I'm sure, billions of dollars through their public offering. And then in February 2025, today, with production delays, financial struggles, and a tarnished reputation, NIKOLA files for Chapter 11. So, anyways, wish the story had a better ending. But it's honestly in some ways amazing that they are made it so far, even after their founder, went was out of the picture. It's crazy. On public, there's been $27 million of volume today.
Whoa.
So is this, I'm trying to understand who's buying the stock at this point. Do they feel that, who knows, right?
It's so bizarre. This is just such an interesting company because
they still are loaded up with debt.
Similar
right?
to Theranos. This is one of those companies that I feel was an open secret in Silicon Valley that everyone knew that this was fake.
Yeah.
There was never a moment where people were like, oh, maybe this will work out. I'm wishing them the best.
Tesla was losing engineers to NIKOLA.
That never happened. And also, there were never VC funds piling into this. I just pulled up Crunchbase, and it was the U.S. Department of Energy, CNH Industrial, General Motors, California Transportation Commission. So the guy was clearly just really good at rizzing non-financial investors who don't do this stuff. And I'm sure that if this founder had walked into a Holy Trinity firm and tried to pitch this, they would have gotten laughed at.
At this time, the other car manufacturers didn't really have a strong EV strategy. Mm-hmm. It did make sense from a narrative standpoint that there would be a commercial focused version of Tesla focused on trucking. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that Tesla would eventually do this, but it wasn't a priority for them, right? And so from a narrative, it all made sense. That doesn't mean that they can actually execute on that narrative and capture value based on that long-term trend. And who knows? I know Amazon has EVs now, but it doesn't seem like EVs have gotten that sort of widespread commercial. They haven't had the level of traction that EVs have had in the commercial market. At least.
So Milton is indicted, the CEO, on multiple fraud charges. This is around 2021, 2022. And in October 2022, he is found guilty and sentenced to prison with heavy fines. NIKOLA settles with the SEC for $125 million over misleading investors. And just now, the reason we're covering it today is that it's basically the end of the road. With production delays, financial struggles, and a tarnished reputation they struggled for. And so they filed for bankruptcy.
He's going to be out of prison in 2027.
Let's get him on the show.
Like
Connor laughing. Maybe, this is another thing. We believe in redemptive justice, right?
Yes.
And, if he does his time, the main thing is I want to see some banger deep tech analysis. I want him to come out with some ground. I want him to hit the books.
I want him
while
to
he's
be
in
the
clink.
Dylan Patel of the commercial EV space.
Yeah.
Handwrite analysis
Yep.
on happenings.
Prove that you're the real deal.
Yeah.
Not just a charlatan. Come out with some groundbreaking research. Show me that you've at least read every book about battery cell technology.
Yeah, he's 42, EV. So he's not even going to be 50 when he gets out.
That'd be great.
He's born in 1982.
That'd be great. A little bump in the road. Get him back in the game.
Get back in action.
Yeah. I love a comeback story. America loves a comeback story. Let's see. So another green energy unicorn died Wednesday as NIKOLA Corp filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The 11-year-old EV maker aspired to be the Tesla of trucks. They went public through a SPAC. They benefited from the Green New Deal. Fetched a $27 billion market valuation at the time that was greater than Ford's. What a coincidence. Wow. Lots of people trying to take a shot at Ford's.
Ford gets, I mean.
Ford's Lindy. They're going to be around longer than all these companies.
If Ford had a Satya, that is a $100 billion company.
For a while, there was like a grandson of Henry Ford running the company, Bill Ford, which was awesome because their tagline was "Built Ford Tough," and his name was Bill Ford Tough.
I love
kind of like a tough guy.
I love
in the
Ford
commercials.
I love Ford as a first name.
Yeah.
It's
great.
It's on our list for the next son, Ford Hayes.
That's good.
Nice sounding name.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Ford make a comeback. I had a Ford Explorer at one point. That was a great car. The Expedition's fantastic. Ford GT, fantastic. Yep. Mustang, also great. You know, these are great cars, but let's bring them back. Supposedly sophisticated investors were taken in by its marketing hype. General Motors took the 11% stake, which CEO Mary Barra hailed as an industry-leading disruptor. It was supposedly sophisticated. It was disruptive in a different way. They posted a video on Twitter of its model truck appearing to power effortlessly down a flat road with the caption, "The NIKOLA hydrogen electric trucks will take on any semi-truck and outperform them in every category: weight, acceleration, stopping, safety, and features, all with 500 to 1,000 mile range." That would be revolutionary if true. It wasn't. According to a 2021 federal fraud indictment of founder Trevor Milton, an inoperable prototype was towed to the top of the hill. Then NIKOLA employees released the brakes so it looked like it was cruising along, all while the door was taped shut to keep it from falling off and its batteries were removed to prevent the truck from catching fire. Rough. After taking investors for a ride, Mr. Milton was
the only ride they actually went on.
Good writing. Good pun.
Journalists are underrated.
Underrated,
sometimes.
Bloomberg.
When they're not.
Who is this? This is Wall Street Journal opinion section. It's great. California regulators and the Biden administration tried to boost the electric truck market with mandates and subsidies. The Inflation Reduction Act included a $40,000 tax credit for buyers of electric trucks. EPA rule last spring requires that electric truck models make up 25% of long-haul tractor sales by 2032. Man, talk about a bull case for Tesla now. It's crazy. Another electric truck maker, Lordstown Motors, filed for bankruptcy in 2023. Fisker failed last June. Rough time. The British electric bus startup Arrival sold its assets. Lots of bad stuff going on in the EV truck market. Power law rules everything around me. That's the story here. Anyway.
Great opportunity, though, for one of our listeners to become a hero. Come in, pull them out of Chapter 11, run it back up to the top.
Yep.
You're definitely going to get it. You know, this could be turn it into a meme coin.
Turn it into a meme coin, yeah. And we were saying earlier.
I mean, actually just continue its,
Trevor's going to try and come out of the clink, hit the ground running, build a new company. One thing in the clink.
Still going to be a young man.
In the clink, bed's famously uncomfortable. Maybe he needs an 8 Sleep. That takes us to our sponsor, 8 Sleep. Nights that fuel your best days. Turn any bed into the ultimate sleeping experience. You can get one at 8sleep.com. And we have another post from 8 Sleep. They formulated a sleep elixir with valerian root, nature's secret to winding down faster. You can check that out at 8sleep.com as well. And so we love 8 Sleep and thank you to them.
One note, on it, they set up a URL, 8sleep.com/TBPN.
Oh, cool.
And they say TB approves the pod, which is the name of their product.
Oh yeah,
the pod approves. So they could just say the pod approves the pod.
We have
a quote up here that says you can't publish 15+ hours a week of live content without being at peak performance. We simply wouldn't be able to do what we do without 8 Sleep. And if you want to win as bad as we do, you can't afford to not sleep.
Made a whole landing page? Oh, that's
That's
amazing. Okay, yeah.
I said we
gotta show that.
We simply wouldn't be able to do what we do without 8 Sleep. And if you want to win as bad as we do, you can't afford not to sleep on the pod. So check it out. Same same pod that Huberman uses.
I love it. I love it.
And Rob over there are absolute boys.
Well, let's move on to some drama between Salesforce and Microsoft.
We love drama
spicy.
on the show.
It got spicy.
I love Beanair on Beanair violence.
I love it. I love it. Mark Benioff and Satya Nadella have been going back and forth. There's an article in the information breaking it down. But first, I wanted to pull up what the stock has been doing. So we went to public.com. We looked at Salesforce. They're up 20% in the last 6 months. Market cap's $310 billion. It's a big company. Big company. Yep. CRM, big business. But they own everything now. They own Slack. And they're trying to get everyone to upgrade to Slack AI. Have you been getting those notifications?
I haven't seen Slack.
Oh man, like whenever you're in Slack now, there's a
David
modal that
Sachs,
pops up. Request AI. Yeah.
David Sachs launched like a Slack competitor that leverages AI.
Didn't he build like a Slack before Slack? Like that was his main thing, right? That he sold to Microsoft.
I almost clicked on David Snacks, which is a parody account.
Well,
Sachs pulled his chat.
Well, I was thinking of Yammer. Like that was the company he did after PayPal, and he sold that for $1 billion.
Yeah. So he last year he announced an AI-powered work chat app rivaling Slack called Glue. Anyways,
I didn't know about that. Interesting.